This was a book on hostage negotiations. Every book is a book on dating. I read Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference a couple of years ago. Since then, I used it to prepare to every negotiation I had. Who knew that one day I would use it in dating? I met this guy who was quite similar to me. He also followed a weird diet, had similar life experiences, was easy to talk to. He understood me, was empathetic, was supportive of my goals, all of the good stuff, but the problem was he was really far away. His ultimate goal was to move to Europe, but his plans were fairly vague. So I said, please do not hit on me if you can't follow through. He said that he could follow through, so we kept on talking and we spoke every day. I was still treating it like a friendship to a large degree, but at some point he told me he wouldn't like me to see other people. Now that sounded like a commitment, so at this point I started questioning whether it made sense to engage in this further. Reading Never Split the Difference got me into a habit of thinking and asking questions in a certain way. It made me look at things from a certain perspective, and there is definitely much more intention in my dealings with people than there was before. I started by stating what I wanted. He said he shared my goals and values. And I think as women, we very often find ourselves in this kind of situation where the guy just says, oh, you know what, I want the same thing, I share the same goals. And we just trust it at face value and hope for the best. So this is something I didn't do, and instead I asked for proof with Chris Voss's calibrated questions. How do I know that you share my values? He explained. How do I know that you actually plan to see me and aren't just talking? I cleared my calendar and cancelled the plans I had for May. I am planning to see you in May. Then it was his turn. He described what he wanted from a relationship and the type of woman that he wanted. And again, it might be very tempting when you hear this kind of description to explain how that woman is exactly you. But let's be honest, it doesn't matter how I see myself, it matters how he sees me. And so when he gave me that description, I simply asked, am I not that woman? Well, I think you are, but I need to know you better to know for sure. Fair. He was very adamant on not starting a long-distance relationship. And to be honest, I didn't want that either. I wanted to find out what it was. I wanted to meet in person, that's all. Why would I wait? I asked. And despite all of the reservations he had before, he asked me to be his girlfriend. How did I just do that? I thought to myself. I said yes, but I wanted to see him, not apply labels on the relationship that without actual physical proximity had no real meaning. That wasn't going to get him off the hook, so I continued with the questioning. When are we actually going to meet? I asked. And he gave me a very long response about his current plans and the variables involved in his life and his complex life situation, and how his coming to Europe depended on those very things, but how I was still adding value to his life and how he was committed to me and thought of me as his girlfriend. So what I wanted was to meet him. What he was offering was a commitment with a promise of maybe seeing me at some point in the future. So was this what I wanted? Not really, but it was the best alternative to a negotiated transaction, so I took it. Did I get you? Obviously I was kidding. I broke it off. The last lesson to be learned from Chris Voss is don't do Batna. Never split the difference. And damn it, because I already got this far. You might think this is ridiculous and that I wasted so much time and maybe even acted in a way that underestimated my value. But this whole thing took 8 weeks, including the 2-week relationship. Considering how long people get stuck in this kind of relationships for, I think it's a good time frame for evaluating whether someone is just blowing smoke or not. And certainly a good way of escaping a bottomless pit of promises without the post-coital guilt of maybe I should have given it another chance. If there is one mistake that I think I made, is that I think I should have questioned his ability to follow through from the beginning. So this would probably save me those few weeks. But to be honest, I mean, there are benefits to that relationship, so no regrets.